I was recently interviewed on a blog, so I thought I'd share my answers in person because some of these questions were really great and they were really interesting. The interview was done by a friend of mine from Instagram, Bibi. I'll have all the applicable links and the link to the blog itself in the description. But let's just jump right into it. In my bio, I said, I am Justice Gash, a solo artist who writes, records, self-produces, and mixes all my own material under my name. I also make YouTube videos from reviews and demos of products to long-form talk pieces, as I'm now waiting to finalize a full body of new material with vocals for the next album release. I identify primarily as a guitarist, bassist, and drummer. I can play keys and synth and sing as well to a lesser degree of ability. And this is true. I am working on a new album that has a lot more vocals on it. And the first question is, how long have you been doing YouTube? I launched my channel in March 2011. I started taking it more seriously around 2013 when I had a successful drum set review get a lot of views. And that is also true. I'll put a link to that if you want to see it. It's my top video still. It has about 95 or so thousand views. It's quite a few. And so, I've gotten quite a few views on that over the years, and that's how I used to get paid when I was a partner. I'm trying to get that partnership back. Next question. How would you describe your YouTube channel to new potential viewers? I primarily make content related to making guitar-driven music in the rock and metal genres. Everything from equipment to studio tips and tricks, and also talk pieces on music and music-adjacent topics, addiction, mental health, and DIY producing. And I plan on enhancing more of that content soon. I really want to embrace some of my addiction journey and talk more about that. Next question. What advice would you give to someone interested in starting a YouTube channel in 2019? And I said, don't give up, even though you may not see huge growth or big numbers. It's an excellent journal to look back on and see where you were at over time. Also, make friends in the music community who share similar interests. Be yourself and learn how to edit video and mix and produce your own audio for videos. So that's the microphone. Been trying to incorporate that more. I just use a phone. As of right now, that's the only camera I have. It works pretty good. I do all my editing on my phone on a program called LumaFusion. I really like it. And then some of these questions, I start getting into some pretty in-depth answers. So, as a writer, producer, and musician, what's the toughest part from creating a song from scratch to having it release ready? The biggest struggle I have is taking an idea all the way. I think sketching out an idea quickly and building on it while you still have creative energy is difficult and extremely important. Write often and be willing to bank material to come back to later. Also, learning how to mix or having people who can mix your material well is super critical. While my material isn't always perfect, I get the sound how I want before I put anything out. I used to always rush my ideas to release without making sure to give myself some time to digest the mix and make small tweaks days or weeks later. Think bigger picture when tracking, not just fixating on one small part of the full journey of the track as a cohesive continuum. And I think that's super critical. One of the ways I'm able to do things quickly now is I have good templates. I have a good drum program, and I map my things out while the idea is still fresh, and I build on it from there. What was the craziest part in recording your album Reboot? The craziest part is I had no studio equipment of my own at the time around March of this year. I was flat broke and had sold everything I owned months prior. I did all the writing, tracking, and mixing in 4 to 6 hour blocks in a friend's garage on borrowed equipment. To be fair, I was using a DAW, Reaper, and a lot of plugins I was super familiar with. Virtually everything on that album is something from TuneTrack EasyMix. What helped keep those sessions highly productive is the time constraints. There were days I would write and partially mix as many as 2, 3, even 4 songs in one session and knock out guitar and bass tracking and programming quickly. I then would take the rough mixes and listen to them until I got back into the studio the next Saturday or whatever it ended up being. I wrote probably a total of 10, 11 songs and narrowed it down to the best 8 that made the cut. I did all the work in about 6 weeks, having no songs at all to start with, but it gave me a lot of momentum and taught me about efficient workflows and learning to commit to tones quickly. And that is a big part of what I do now. I really try to condense that part of the process of just finding a guitar tone, and I just use presets that I've built or a starting point that I have, and I use that to kind of jumpstart things. Your latest single, Throne of Lies, just came out the 25th of September, and it's awesome. You mentioned in the video description that it was influenced by bands like Meshuggah. Was there any song in particular that really inspired this track? And I said, I like the sound of the band in general, especially the tightness and making the rhythm itself more interesting than simpler notes being played. In hindsight, there are sections that parallel tones and feels in the Meshuggah songs Demerge, and also Do Not Look Down, especially the use of ambient higher octave slides over a big groove. As a starting point, in a lot of my recordings, I use drum samples and presets from Toontrack products that Meshuggah created, including the bass tone, which I have yet to beat. They made the best clean bass tone I've ever heard, and I barely ever tweak it. Also, I think something that people might find interesting, all the music I've tracked and mixed and put out after Reboot was done on a $30 Behringer interface and SteelSeries camming headset I've had forever for headphones. Don't need to break the bank to write and record and mix songs from home. That's what I was talking about, the headset. They're open back, and they actually have really good drivers in them. I bought this headset, I want to say, in 2013, 14, for about $100, maybe less, maybe 70. But they've treated me really well, and it's a sound that I'm really familiar with and I really like. And so I use it all the time. And then as far as the interface, I just am borrowing one that was around, and I really like it. Do you have any plans for 2020? Both. And then I think the addition to this question was YouTube and albums. Both, more album material. So far, the majority of my releases have been in the metal genre and instrumental. I have some songs that have a more alt-pop and indie vibe with my own vocals, and that will be something I've yet to put out officially to date. My goal early 2020 with YouTube is to regain my partnership. That's 1,000 subs and 4,000 viewing hours. I have about half the viewing hours and close to 700 subs. After they changed the rules in 2017, I lost mine due to subscriber requirements. I'm well on my way and regularly uploading and working on new ideas constantly and seeing momentum really grow lately. Thank you for letting me share my story. So yeah, I really appreciated what I was able to talk about on this interview. I'm going to try and get some interviews with friends of mine. I really would like to have more dialogue. And it was nice being able to get the questions and type out my responses and think about it. I was able to pull up YouTube videos. I'll try and put everything in the description that I was talking about as far as videos of mine, videos of BB's, the Instagram links, and the link to the blog itself. Thank you for watching. This was a really fun interview to do. I hope to do more in the future. Thank you.